Can I show you something in the Bible that I bet you've never noticed? There are actually two things in this story that you're going to love. Remember the story of Legion? He was the man so demon-possessed that the Bible says he has a legion of demons. Jesus and his disciples are preaching to 5,000 people when they get in a boat and risk their lives to cross the lake. They land in a cemetery in Decapolis, which is another way of saying 10 cities. The Decapolis is only mentioned twice, and this is the first time that it is significant. When they arrive in Decapolis and come across the man chained up with the legion of demons, they immediately recognize Jesus and beg him not to torture them. It also says that the demons begged Jesus repeatedly not to cast them out of the area. Instead, they advised casting us into that nearby herd of pigs and requesting entrance. When I reached to this portion of the story, I was thinking to myself, you demons are idiots, Jesus ain't gonna do you a favor, are you kidding me, Jesus about to cast you back to hell where you belong. But that's not what occurs. Watch as Jesus responds to a demon's plea to enter the pigs. Are you kidding me, a demon? Here's the first thing I want you to consider. How often have you put off approaching God with a problem or a request because you were afraid he wouldn't care, wouldn't hear you, or would consider it unimportant? The truth is, we've all engaged in this behavior, but here's what God revealed to me through this story. Hebrews chapter 4 verse 16 states, "So let us come boldly before the throne of our gracious God, there we will receive his mercy and we will find grace to help us when we need it most." If Jesus is willing to answer the request of a demon, how much more so will he do for you? If we ever feel as though we are disturbing God or that he doesn't have time for us, he wants us to confidently bring everything to him, or he doesn't care about your request, that is a lie of the devil. Of course Satan doesn't want you taking everything to God because he knows God cares about you. Do you know that yet? Stop believing the lie. Go boldly before his throne today. If he will answer his enemy's request, don't you think he wants so much more for you, his child who he loves more than anything? That's good preaching right there. However, there is a next development in this story that you could have missed. People from Decapolis arrive to investigate the commotion and discover that all of their pigs have perished, but that Legion has been completely healed. I would assume that this has excited them to learn that there is a man who can both heal and cast out demons. Yeah, we need this guy, but that's not what happens. They become angry over the pigs, literally, they get so angry that they beg Jesus to leave, and Jesus, being the gentleman that he is, obliges them, but as he's leaving, Legion asks, "Can I go with you?" I mean, I get it. Stay with the people who chained me to a cemetery or go with the guy who just set me free. But Jesus tells him no, just stay here and tell people your story, so they will know what I did for you. Then, Jesus and his disciples get back in the boat and cross over to the other side, where they complete their sermon to the 5,000. At this point, it may seem as though the story has come to an end. But don't worry, everything is about to become crystal apparent. Remember how I said Decapolis has only been referenced twice, the first time when Jesus arrives at Legion, but where is the second time? I'm pleased you inquired, since the narrative of Legion is recorded in Mark 5, but in Mark 7 we see Jesus' return to Decapolis for the second time. They begged Jesus to leave the last time he was here, but notice what happens this time. Mark chapter 7 verse 31 says, "Again, Jesus came through the region of Decapolis, and they brought to him one who was deaf and had an impediment in his speech, and they begged him to put his hands on the man and heal him." Did you catch that? They went from begging Jesus to leave to begging him to stay and heal. What happened? What caused this major shift in their attitude from only 2 chapters before? Well, the Bible doesn't tell us exactly, but I think we can figure this out on our own. He told Legion to stay there and tell his story, and I'm sure he was telling his story of how Jesus set him free and people saw and noticed. So when Jesus returns 2 chapters later, they want to know what Legion experienced with Jesus. Don't miss this. Jesus leaves preaching to 5,000 people to cross a lake amid a life-threatening storm to heal one guy and then leave. Why would Jesus do that? Because he understood the power of one. Jesus' profound transformation of one man's life led to the drastic transformation of 10 towns. Do you think your story of how Jesus changed your life is unimportant? You are sadly mistaken. Don't ever think for a second, who am I? How can I help anyone? I'm just one person. I don't have a huge following. People don't know who I am. It doesn't matter. The Bible tells us we overcome the devil by the blood of the Lamb, that's Jesus, and by the word of our testimony. That's your story. Go to the one you think would never accept Jesus, because Jesus recognized value in everyone, and we should too. You never know, you might be the one who begins a revolution for Jesus by telling your experience to the other person. I guess we'll never know unless we try. So go ahead and tell everyone you know about how Jesus improved your life and see what happens. You won't be disappointed.